And here we go, Wednesday, January 26, 2022. Armani and Edwards, the bottom line, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, my friend. I am feeling extremely good today. Came in, and my boy Nick Leach in the back was playing all Motown hits. I'm talking about some Bill Withers. I'm talking about some Marvin Gaye, some Temptation, just my imagination. It just was a party in the back, man. That's what I love about Woodward Sports Network. We are a family, and we have a damn good time at all times.
There is a vibe in the building. That is absolutely for sure. The great Tom Mazaway along with us as well.
Hey, thanks for lunch today, Ryan.
Thank you.
What a
You know,
great
look at
Hunter
that.
House lunch,
Little
man.
Hunter House action.
You know, we're right down the street. I
was
wanted
great.
a burger. We got some burgers. You guys all right? Alex Mayer. It is Wednesdays with fish as well. Are you kidding me?
Fish, man. You know, I always miss you, man. I love Wednesdays. I look forward to seeing my guy Fish.
Thank you.
You mentioned the vibe in the building. It is because we have exciting things happening.
We do.
At this network, on our shows. I saw Adam Baydoun earlier today. It is great to see him in the afternoon.
Can I give a hint?
Great.
Yeah.
If the Rams win on Monday, expect hell. That's all I'll say.
Expect complete havoc. I mean, he's already planning Monday's show.
It's great to see him back in the building, like you said, afternoon, man. Like he was, had COVID, was out for a little while, and now that he's come back. He's come back in full effect. He's funny. The energy is lightning in a bottle. And oh boy, I can't wait to see how he tops Monday, this coming Monday. I may have to be a part of it.
You mentioned Nick Leach. We got Easy back there. Joey and Stick doing their thing. Justin is cranking out everything back there. And, of course, Spencer and Sawyer. And great to see Neil Rule and Darren today as well. Just a ton of great things happening here. And it starts, too, with this. The show today is awesome. Okay, momentarily we're going to be joined by Rob Parker with this Baseball Hall of Fame. Is one of the most embarrassing things I have ever seen in my life to keep Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens out of the Hall. So we'll talk to Rob Parker about that, get his opinion. Hondo Carpenter from Las Vegas, Raiders writer there, SI.com. He wrote one of the most comprehensive head coaching latest searches going on right now. So we'll talk to Hondo coming up. Kelly Stafford reacted to the Ndamukong Suh.
Dropped a couple F-bombs.
I'm going to effing kill you to her husband, Matt Stafford. Ooh. What's that all about? And, of course, Urban Meyer spoke the other day to his good buddy Dan Dockich. They were the football and basketball coaches, respectively, at Bowling Green when yours truly worked at the television station in Toledo. So I got to know both of them rather
Two of the
well.
most polarizing figures in the sports world.
Little Josh Harris back then. Little Omar Jacobs.
Hey, man, look. Omar Jacobs. Oh, my God.
Steve Sanders.
They cracked into the top 25. That was like the biggest thing in the world back then.
He was in the Heisman running for the first 4 weeks.
Absolutely.
I know a little something.
Incredible stuff.
Steve Sanders from 90210.
That's right.
No, absolutely. Wide receiver Steve Sanders.
Guys, but we do want to open up. This is a sad anniversary of sorts. 2 years ago today, the world was crushed and shocked with the news that Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and 7 others had died in a plane crash. And if you're watching on YouTube or on Twitter right now, this video that we're showing, this was like, I believe maybe a week before.
A week or two before.
A week or two before.
This is the LeBron game when he and LeBron had the conversation.
And it was just crazy because this special relationship came to light, and it was just in the forefront. And to hear that they passed in just tragic fashion.
That's his little girl, Gianna.
Yep, just devastating.
Yeah, and we talked about it on Monday. We kind of, I guess, we spoiled our stories in terms of when we were where Kobe passed away. I think the big thing for him, man, is he will be immortalized because he was one of the first athletes that kind of grew up in the internet. If you think about it, Maz, if you think about the athletes that grew up being kids when the internet started really popping in searches and search engines, it was Kobe, it was Venus and Serena, it's Tiger. And he died young, not of natural causes. He didn't die it was very crazy, and it was, although I said I wasn't going to say this word, it was negligence on the pilot. He shouldn't have been flying that day. Visibility, every helicopter pilot that's interviewed or talked about it said that you don't fly on a day like that. You do not fly. So it's just crazy. You think of the immortalization of individuals that die early. Bruce Lee. And that's what I think of when I think of Kobe Bryant. They'll be remembered more after they die. His relentlessness, his girl dad theme and model that he had, like he's a powerful father, strong father, and what he was doing with Gianna and his girls and trying to, implement that to WNBA and just women equality all around. He won an Oscar, for God's sake.
Kobe Bryant's rules: get better every single day, prove them wrong, work on your weaknesses, execute what you practiced, learn from greatness, learn from wins and losses, practice mindfulness, be ambitious, believe in your team, and learn storytelling. Man, if you could do one or two of those 10,
you'll be successful.
Absolutely.
Accountability was a big thing, and I think that's why that's why we love Kobe, because he held everybody accountable. Like, it's not one of those things where he did his own thing and didn't worry about others. He held Shaq accountable. He told Shaq, like, you're fat and out of shape.
Right.
Like, how do you tell Shaq you're fat and out of shape and we would want or you would be better? He didn't mind. He would go for it.
I want to read this from Tom Brady. He put this out yesterday. So much talk about, whether or not he's going to come back and not. And when your peers lose their life, when something happens to your peers, you reevaluate your own life. So Tom Brady talked about this. We never know what's going to happen in the future. We really don't. Kobe Bryant, a friend of ours, God rest his soul. We think we're going to live forever. We're not. We think we're going to play forever. We're not. What can we do? We can enjoy the moments we have. And it really is a way, and it's a reminder today, to put everything in perspective. Whatever you're going through, it's okay. It is okay, because we are lucky enough to be here on this earth, above ground, and you just power through whatever it is you're going through. You just power through, fight through.
Live to fight another day.
That's it.
And the crazy thing about it is it's still fresh. Like what happened with Kobe kind of set in motion this world we live in today, in terms of Kobe died. Then we have COVID. Then we have the pandemic. It's set in motion, and it still really hasn't set in that Kobe's gone, because he died so early. It was a tragic accident with the helicopter crash. Also, rest in peace to the other 7 individuals that were in that helicopter. But it still hasn't set in. I was watching Molly Quirm on ESPN talk about Kobe, and she was choked up, talking about he had, taken him to Italy, and she's now studying Spanish in full time as a student because of Kobe and the immaculate things that he can do, being interviewed in Italian, in Spanish, and in English at the same time. It still hasn't set in, and it won't set in for a very long time.
So on this day, we remember Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and those 7 others that tragically lost their lives 2 years ago today. Guys, want to bring him in, friend of the show. So many people here locally and nationally now know who Rob Parker is. Fox Sports 1, MLB Network, MLBBro.com, Deadspin. Rob, is there a job that you...
Man,
come on.
Come on.
Come on. Hey, if they're paying, I'm working. You know how it works.
Part-time basketball player as well, man. Rob will do it all and do it all well.
Hey, Rob, I want to ask you, first of all, before we get to Bonds and Clemens, which is the reason why we wanted to have you on, just your thoughts on the 2-year anniversary of Kobe Bryant's passing.
Yeah, you know what? It's so sad. I can't believe it's been 2 years, but I was down in Miami at an outdoor party, a day party, prior to the Super Bowl. And the news kind of spread amongst people, and it just became like this wildfire. And, people didn't want to believe it at first. It was just like, normal. You just don't want to believe that somebody of that ilk with that much to live for and that much celebrity and money could be gone that soon. But I just heard you guys talking earlier, and that's really it was a sad day whenever someone is lost that way, and a number of people, obviously, the other people in the helicopter as well. But it does teach you that you do have to enjoy every day, work through the bumps and the rough patches in life, and just always think that, things could be worse. I know that just sounds cliche, but it's true. And whenever you go to bed at night and you got a roof over your head and you ate dinner the night before, and whatnot, and you have a few loved ones that care about you, that's really what it all comes down to.
How crazy is it, fellas, that last night the Lakers beat the Nets? Obviously, the Nets were undermanned. They did not have Kyrie Irving, and KD still out with the knee injury. But how crazy is they win the game? Now they're the 8th seed, and their record is 24-24 the day before Kobe's 2-year anniversary. That's sick.
Yeah, it is.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Strange.
Hey, Rob, saw you on MLB Network yesterday, and it sickens me to think that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are not in the Hall of Fame. Just for our audience, what do you make of this? Why does baseball continue to go down this road, the writers anyway, with playing holier than thou, in my words?
Yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope. Let me just get real simple. First of all, baseball has always adopted what the writers have voted for. Like when people say, why do they let the writers do this? No, that's not the way it goes. The writers were the ones who started all this, and baseball adopted it, okay? So that's number one. And number two, I'm a proud card-carrying member of the BBWAA, and we normally get it right. And how can I say that? Because in 1947, the first black baseball writer was given entry into the BBWAA. Did you hear me? 1947, correct?
Yes.
That's 20-some years before civil rights. The BBWAA let in a black writer. Of course, Jackie Robinson broke into baseball that year as well. They voted him Rookie of the Year. There were no black players in the league except Jackie Robinson. And when you talk about writers having vendettas and doing stuff, look at Barry Bonds. He won 7. Braylon, 7 MVPs. Guess who voted for those MVPs?
Writers.
The writers, not other players, not other GMs. The writers voted Barry Bonds, who was not a good guy to us. So I honestly believe that after this period of what I would call like punishment, that in their last vote, they would come through and do the right thing. And I think there's a disconnect between writers and fans. Fans love Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and how they saved baseball. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Absolutely.
1998.
Breaking into network programming.
It was unbelievable. They used to cut in for every at-bat. You remember? ESPN cut in for every at-bat. It was an epic summer. And what we saw with Bonds and Clemens and all these other guys, writers have a different, we're sacred. We're trying to hold the Hall of Fame in high regard and not let anybody in. But I think the fans aren't that bothered by Barry Bonds, aren't that bothered by Roger Clemens. And let's just be honest. They're not the only two guys who used the juice during that time. And I'll say this. Why is baseball held to a higher standard? Braylon, you played in the league. There's about 8 or 10 guys every year that get suspended for the juice, right? Yeah. They get a 4-game suspension. Nobody says anything, and they go on and play. We got Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. People throw around, he's the GOAT coach, he's the GOAT player. Both of them were busted for cheating and being involved in scandals. Yeah. Nothing. They don't even mention it when they talk about Tom Brady, right? He's suspended.
No, you're 100% correct. I think we got to get to a break. Yeah. Let's get to a break, and I'll come back and respond if that's okay with you.
30 seconds, right back. Armani and Edwards.
I agree with you. Woodward Sports Network. This is the
30 seconds.
Line. 6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Rob, before we went to the commercial, we got to get Rob back. But before we went to commercial, Rob was talking about how baseball is held to a higher standard. You talk about things that are going on in the NFL, from players getting suspended, players on the juice, players doing things and still being able to come back and still being able to be held in high regard. I think you're correct. I just think where it stems from. Baseball has been the gentleman's game. It has been the pastime since the 1800s. And I think football just kind of came along as the redheaded stepchild and just started to get that respect in the 90s. So I think that's more so along the way. They're held to a higher regard. Like, I understand the writers definitely voted for Jackie Robinson in 1947 when you know what the climate was in 1947.
Right. Think about 1947. We're not talking about the 60s were turbulent.
Yeah.
So imagine that an all-white, basically, writers voted for the first black guy in the league to be Rookie of the Year. I think that's incredible. I do.
There's no doubt about that, Rob, but I think the question is, has enough time passed? Have we evolved in our thinking enough with this particular steroid era, the performance-enhancing drug era? Where, look, I mean, when Pete Rose was banished from baseball, you thought that was the number one sin in the world. Now you got casinos in ballparks. So, I mean, we evolved. So how can't you let Bonds and Clemens in? I mean, it's almost like COVID, right? I mean, not everybody with COVID is symptomatic. So how do you know how many people actually had, how many people took steroids?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you, Ryan. That's the biggest problem. And this is my issue. Is people act as if Bonds and Clemens were the only ones, so they had an advantage. You can't tell me that Bonds wasn't facing other pitchers who were on the juice as well, who was pitching to him, and Clemens wasn't facing guys who were on the juice. We don't know. The Mitchell report is not a true snapshot of what was going on. I think that way more players tried it. I'm not saying everybody was on it, but a lot of players tried it. It wasn't being tested. Braylon, right? We know that.
Yeah.
If the
100%.
league's not tested for it, then you don't feel like it's something that I have to really worry about. And I think it's unfair. Now, the guys who got
insert
busted
HGH in the NFL.
What?
I said insert HGH into the NFL. Like when I was playing, like, everybody was taking HGH in the NFL that was performing at a high level because they couldn't test for it. To catch HGH, you literally got to give somebody a test about within hours of taking HGH. It's the only way to catch it. So you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I just think the fans were disappointed. I was mad as hell last night. I got to admit it. I voted for Bonds and Clemens all 10 years on the ballot. I think it's an injustice. I think the writers did a disservice to the fans. I get it. The awards and it's our privilege and our responsibility to vote. But I just think we missed a boat on this one.
Hey, Rob, here's the kicker, man. Go back a couple of weeks when Hub Arkush in the NFL, one of the NFL writers, been around forever, just like you. And he goes out and he says, I would have never voted for Aaron Rodgers because he's a jerk. Never mind what he did on the field, I'll never vote for him. And he caught hell for that. So that's what people are upset about, that writers are taking matters into their own hands this way. I think Clemens and Bonds, they paid their penance. And I'm like you, in the 10th year, they should have gotten in. Hell, we all know they're great before they even took the juice. We know that.
We know that.
We know that. I get it.
Right. That's the biggest thing is you're right, is that we do know that. Bonds won 3 MVPs in Pittsburgh, right? Clemens won 3 in Boston, Cy Youngs. Those guys, go look at the videotape. Look at those guys. They were stars from day one. Yeah. I think it's an injustice. You know, we'll move on. We'll see. The Veterans Committee comes up in December, so there's a chance they could get in that way, but it's still not the same. I know guys get in all the time through the Veterans Committee, but it's not like being voted in by the writers because we're independent.
Mm-hmm. Then when's Pete Rose's turn?
Pete Rose blew his turn because they tried to get him back in. And be fair, Maz, back in the All-Star game in Cincinnati, they allowed him to take part. You remember that?
Yeah, of course. But Jim Gray asked him a question on the field on national TV.
But they allowed him to take part in the baseball thing, and then the guy came out with a book that he lied, and all that, and he wrecked his own return. Baseball tried to get him back involved. Remember, he was doing the
I
Fox
agree with that.
Baseball pregame show. Am I right, Ryan?
I know. Rob, I 100% agree with you. Well, Pete, they tried to help him out, and he could not help himself. That's how I feel.
He couldn't help himself.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it.
Why are you writing a book to make money saying after
He's
14 years of lying that you did it?
Rob, he's an idiot. We all know that. But what he did on the field, what Bonds did on the field, what Clemens did on the field, what Sammy did on the field, McGuire, go on and on, that gets you in. Not because you're a jerk. Look at Schilling. He's a jerk.
I want to get to him
in a
minute.
No one likes Schilling.
Hold on.
No one likes him. But, he should be in.
Yeah, and I agree, man. The only thing I was going to say about Bonds, 'cause I think we can sit here and talk to it. No, you're good. I love it. We can talk to her blue in the face. He's not getting in. It is what it is. I just don't understand one simple factor. One simple factor is you're talking about the best baseball player of all time. You're talking about a guy that's the best hitter of all time. You're talking about a guy that changed the game. You're talking about two players that are arguably the best players at their position. Now, for Roger Clemens, arguably, because there are better pitchers. But I just don't understand what they did for baseball, where they took baseball, the mark that they left on baseball. Like, you got to let these guys in. You're doing yourself a disservice by not letting these guys in. That's the last thing I'll say about it.
No, you're Braylon, 100%. It's a swing and a miss by the writers. Baseball has nothing to do with it. I want people to understand that. Like it's not for them to pick the players who go in or anything like that. It's not. It's the responsibility of the BBWAA, and it's always been like that. So this is one where you say, well, baseball keeps shooting itself in the foot. Baseball has no authority to do anything or put anybody in the Hall of Fame.
Rob, let me ask you about, Maz brought him up, Curt Schilling, because I went back and looked at Schilling's stats and records and all this stuff. I mean, I don't need to list them off. I mean, one of four pitchers to strike out 300 batters three times since 1900. Koufax, Ryan, Randy Johnson. No starter in postseason history had a win probability higher. 5-0 in elimination games in the postseason. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Could you make an argument that Schilling is even more deserving than Bonds and Clemens,
not
because there was no drugs associated, performance-enhancing drugs associated with his performance on the field. The appearance is that his opinions off the field are keeping him out. Nothing to do with anything on the field.
Not originally, Ryan. That's not true, because there are people who don't believe that he's despite the numbers you just put up, he never won a Cy Young. His ERA, just to give you a comparison, Tom Seaver's in the Hall of Fame. Tom Seaver won 311 games. He has a 2.86 ERA with 3 Cy Young. Okay, so that's a high standard.
Well, let me.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's kind of why I went back, to look at Schilling's stats, because as a baseball fan, I'm thinking to myself, was Curt Schilling the most dominant pitcher of it, like a Jack Morris? I think Jack Morris has a bigger stake to the Hall of Fame than Curt Schilling, to be honest with you. But I guess you look at the postseason stats specifically as a reason why to put him in. But either way,
no, that heightens you. Yeah. But that shouldn't be the only thing. Were you the best pitcher of your era? When you talk about Clayton Kershaw, right, with the Dodgers,
right? When
you go back to his 10 years, he has 3 MVPs. They won a World Series. Like, you'll go look. He won the ERA leadership like 2 or 3 times. You start looking at the national awards. So Curt Schilling, whenever he brings up that the only reason he's not in is because he's conservative and all the writers are liberal, which we know is not even close to being true. And the other thing is, it's not about him being conservative and whatnot, because Mariano Rivera was probably the biggest Donald Trump, or probably is the biggest Donald Trump supporter. And guess who got in unanimously?
Sure.
Mariano Rivera.
Right.
Oh, yeah, Mo.
It's about your ability.
Yeah. It's funny when you start missing Curt Schilling's stats, and then Rob starts talking about the playoff stats. It's like Julian Edelman's name came up for some reason. It's like the playoff numbers of Julian Edelman versus the regular season. He never was the best wide receiver ever.
When that came out, Braylon, that he should be like going to the Hall of Fame, I'm like, would you stop it, please?
Yeah.
Rob, man, I'm sorry. I can't let you off the hook yet. Listen, there's no Hall of Fame without Pete Rose in it. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn if you don't like him or anyone don't like him. How do you not put a guy? He's the hit king.
It's not about not liking. It's not liking him. You know this. Ryan knows this. Braylon probably even knows this. When you walk into a baseball clubhouse, the biggest sign in the room is hit you across the face. Okay? about gambling.
Guess what? There's
And it's
casinos in the same ballpark now.
No, okay. We're not talking about. He wasn't there during that. Ryan talked about it.
Yep.
He was ahead of his time.
Evolved. We get it. There used to be a time, Maz, where there were no black players in Major League Baseball too, right? Okay, things evolved.
Hey, you don't think he had a deal with Bart Giamatti?
Here it is.
The guy dies.
I got what we do. All four of us. And this is coming from one of my really, really good friends, DJ Tom T out there.
Tom T.
This came from Tom T. He said, all of us, okay, Rob, Tom, Ryan, Maz, we go by the building across the street from Cooperstown. We put up our own statues of Bonds, Charlie Hustle, and Clemens. And then, oh, by the way, we make another statue giving the middle finger to Ty Cobb. How about that?
There you go.
How about that?
Hey, Rob, before we let you go, I got this for you, okay? On Sunday, I'm going to be waiting for it. It's going to be so quiet in Los Angeles right now, you could hear a mouse urinate all over Kelly Stafford's podcast.
Right. Or Kelly Stafford's pretzel that you threw at a fan.
Hold on, Rob. Who's winning that game, Rob?
Oh,
I got the 49ers in that game.
Yeah.
For whatever
You got 'em
reason,
sweeping.
They see. They have the Rams number, and they've had an unbelievable postseason. When you think about beating the Rams in LA, right, to get to the playoffs, beating Dallas in Dallas, and beating Green Bay in Green Bay.
and going to do it again.
Unbelievable.
How about the Lote? Is the Lote coming back?
I don't think Tom Brady's coming back. The luckiest of all time. I think he's done.
Who's better than Rob Parker? Who's better than Rob Parker?
Nobody.
Nobody.
You know he's the low.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
tell these guys what the best hot dog in America is before you leave.
All right, we all know it's just no phony conies like in Detroit with those conies. You got to get a Sabrett hot dog.
There you
Brandon,
go.
You played in New York.
Oh, yeah, I know
Sabrett
about it.
hot dog
100%.
with the natural casing, red onion sauce,
Yep.
spicy brown mustard, and then after you have that hot dog, you know what you need? You need a cigarette and baby oil to finish off the job. That's how good it is.
One of my favorite things to do when I played for the Jets is on Mondays with me and my boy Nick. We would always stay in the city and go out party Monday night, do the whole shebang bang, because you're off Tuesday. And guess what we would do on Tuesday? We would go get that Sabrett with the red hot sauce, man.
yes.
Let's go, man.
Hey, Rob,
Always.
thanks so much, man. We appreciate you hopping on with us. Check Rob out with Chris
See ya, brother.
Broussard, Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio, Fox Sports 1, MLB
Yes,
Network.
sir. Whoever's paying.
Deadspin,
Whoever's
MLBpro.com.
Hold on. When's baseball coming back?
Oh.
Baseball, you know what? They're negotiating. Things are moving along. The players have made some concessions. The league. I expect baseball to start on time.
Amen to
Oh,
that.
there we go.
All right.
The great Rob Parker. We love you, Rob. Thanks so much, my friend.
See you, bud.
So
Rob
proud of
P.
you. All your
Appreciate you.
Two guys,
success.
thank you.
You
Thank
got it. Rob Parker doing us
better?
proud out there
Who's better?
in Los Angeles.
I never
We're-
want to let that guy go.
I know. I can talk to him all day. We're going to take a break, come right back, and react.
It's time to do it.
Plus, Kelly Stafford on why Sue hates Stafford. Shocking.
I like Kelly Stafford now.
Great. We got that. We got Urban Meyer. We got Hondo Carpenter, a Harbaugh update. Tons packed on a Tuesday. What's today? Wednesday.
Today is Wednesday, man.
Hump day.
Hermione and Edwards.
Hey, Woodward Sports Network, the bottom
Haircut day.
Ooh,
line. I know,
wee.
right? You see it. You see that boy looks smooth. I'm growing it out, man. Armani and Edwards.
I'm Kay Cunningham. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
You want commercials? The other guys have those. You want great sports takes? Touchdown! What a play! Woodward Sports has those. Detroit's new sports outlet. The Woodward Sports Network.
And a miraculous catch.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Planet Fitness is home of a judgment-free zone where you can work out in non-intimidating environment. Oh my God, it's the best. You just want to sip a soda. Hey, if you don't even want to work out, you want to sit there, text on your phone, make it look like you're working out. Guess what? Planet Fitness, no one's judging you. Gotta love the judgment-free zone. Membership is just $10 a month, or you can get the black card. What is the black card you asked?
What is the black card?
Ask me about the black card.
What's the black card?
What's the black card, Braylon?
The black card is a black card you get at Planet Fitness that will let you use amenities such as unlimited tanning, hydro massage chairs. Everybody loves sitting in a good massage chair. Imagine if that chair had a massage room.
Can we change this stuff?
I think I might have set something in motion right there. And total body enhancements. Body enhancement along with over 2,000 locations worldwide. That means
worldwide.
they're out there by you. And guess what?
Japan,
there is
Australia,
a Planet Fitness
Netherlands,
near you.
Anywhere.
They're all over the place. No matter where you are, there is a Fitness by you now open in Midtown, downtown Detroit. That's the spot right there. LCA, that Midtown area right there. Woodward, Wayne State campus. That's a beautiful space right there. Now open, like I said, right now, $0 down or $10 a month. PlanetFitness.com.
Can T. Foss walk around with his 2-pound weights?
So we just had Rob Parker on.
And a bodysuit.
Great conversation with Rob. And he does believe that they got it wrong with Bonds and Clemens. And I just go back to it. I made the analogy, and I think it was a pretty darn good one, so I'll repeat it. It's that kind of like COVID.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we don't know everybody that had COVID. Some people had COVID and were asymptomatic, and without a test, you're walking around without COVID. You don't know. There are many players in baseball
that escaped.
That because their head didn't expand, they were taking PEDs, and we didn't even know it. Who is the outfielder, Maz? You'll remember this. That hit 50 home runs for the Baltimore Orioles. Brady Anderson. I mean, Brady friggin' Anderson came to spring training one year, and his arm, he was like we knew he was taking steroids.
Brett Boone.
Right.
He had 3 years that he looked like Hercules.
So basically what I'm saying, you just don't know everybody that took. Were there players out there that had pitched against Bonds that took steroids? Absolutely.
I think, what we haven't talked about, and if you pay attention to what we're talking about, it comes up. It is part of the narrative. It's likability versus not likability. Mm-hmm. Like the guys you're talking about, like it's the fans, the people that you like versus the people that you don't like. Nobody liked Barry Bonds. Like people loved his ability, but in terms of his personality, people didn't like it. People didn't like Clemens. People didn't like Roger Clemens. Like people love Big Papi. Mm-hmm. People love David Ortiz. Like that matters. People don't like Aaron Rodgers. Like it sucks, but it matters. People care about being like, that's what they want to vote on. Hey, you know what? That guy was nice in his interview. That guy was nice to this person. I'm going to vote for that guy. I'm going to give him my vote for Biletnikoff. I'm going to give him my vote for Heisman. I'm going to give him my vote for Hall of Fame, Cooperstown or Canton. People want to like you to vote for you, and it's sad. It should not be that way. Big Papi is loved. Name somebody that doesn't like Big Papi besides Yankees fans. Mm-hmm. Like remember the Boston, I said Yankees fans, remember the Boston Marathon when he came out after that and he cursed and said, this is our effing city, let's effing go. He endeared himself to the nation.
Sure.
Not only Boston. People like Big Papi. People don't like Bonds, and they damn sure don't like Roger Clemens.
So if you missed the conversation with Rob Parker, we certainly invite you to go back on the YouTube, on Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts, and listen for Rob Parker. Really good insight regarding why Bonds and Clemens did not get in, does not agree with it, but it is what it is. And you guys had a good back and forth about Pete Rose.
I didn't mean to jump in again. T.O. Look at T.O. T.O. made second ballot Hall of Famer when he has the best receiving stats of all time. He's only second to Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. Randy Moss and him kind of fluctuate in certain stats. He's number one all time. Name somebody else that would be the number one position or number two position in their position and not get to the Hall of Fame first ballot. They did not like T.O. Made him wait till second ballot. They did that on purpose, and as a result, guess who didn't show up to get his bus to give his speech? T.O.
I hate the guy that thinks he's the gatekeeper that keeps Derek Jeter off his Hall of Fame ballot because he doesn't believe that any player should be
Man still has
on a first ballot.
Watch out.
Well, I just think it's like that guy should have his vote revoked. We hear, if you look at Twitter today and last night specifically, all the guys that we know, the Jason Starks, the Rob Parker, the Bob Nightingale, the Ken Rosenthal's, all these guys that they posted their ballots and they let us see that they voted for Bonds and Clemens and all this stuff.
There's the Jeff Passan. Did we put up his tweet before, Alex?
Where are the guys that didn't? I want to see. I want to know who those guys are. I want to hear from them. Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Curt Schilling were not chosen for the Hall of Fame in their 10th and final year. They're expected to be on the today's game ballot.
Yes, that's at the end of the year when the Veterans Committee gets the vote. That's when they'll have a chance to get in. Roger Clemens.
That's what Rob was talking
There's
about.
the way the ballot finished.
Yeah, I mean it's just and if you look at if you look at Schilling again, I went back because I just Schilling to me was he a Hall of Famer? Wasn't he a Hall of Famer? But when you look at his numbers, 5-0 in elimination games in the playoffs, 1.37 ERA, no starter in postseason history had a win probability higher than Schilling. Best strikeout to walk ratio than any pitcher since the 19th century. One of 4 pitchers to strike out 300 batters 3 times since 1900. Sandy Koufax, Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson are the only others. You keep him out because you don't like his political viewpoint?
Side note, Matt, let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
This is why I'm looking up, because he's a friend of mine as well as one of my favorite baseball players ever. Is Gary Sheffield a Hall of Famer?
To me, if you just without me even looking at his numbers, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Without me looking at his numbers, just me watching his career, I would say Gary Sheffield's a Hall of Famer.
He's 509 home runs.
Yep.
Yeah, he's
253
stolen bases.
I think he'll be there eventually.
1,600 RBIs, or is it 20? Yeah, 1,600 RBIs, 2,700 hits. Like, Jesus Christ.
Roger Clemens, by the way, put out a tweet. I want you to read this. Alex, put this one up. Alex, you have better eyes than me, Ryan, so you could read Roger Clemens' tweet to the Hall of Fame, basically.
Hey, y'all, I figured I'd give you all a statement since it's that time of year again. My family and I have put the Hall of Fame in the rearview mirror 10 years ago. I didn't play baseball to get in the Hall of Fame. I played to make a generational difference in the lives of my family. The focus on winning championships. Come on, Fish, hang on. The focus, where am I now? The focus on winning championships and giving back to my community and the fans as well. It was my passion. I gave it all I had the right way for my family and for the fans who supported me. I am grateful for that support. I would like to thank those who took the time to look at the facts and vote for me. Hopefully everyone can now close this book and keep their eyes focusing on what is really important in life, all love.
Isn't that cool?
That's a hell of a tweet.
Now you can do the family. All right, guys, we're going to talk to Hondo Carpenter. What's the latest with the Raiders coaching update? Is Sean Payton in the mix? Also,
how about Harbs?
What about Jim Harbaugh? We'll ask Hondo that next. Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Big names, bigger opinions. It's the bottom line on Woodward Sports.
Hey guys, welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Let's bring him in. Publisher, SI, Raiders, Maven. On Twitter, at Hondo Carpenter. Wrote one of the most in-depth pieces you will find about the Raiders coaching search
Inside
and update.
the black hole.
That's right. The great Hondo Carpenter. Hondo, my friend, thanks so much. I want to read this one tweet from you. According to one NFL's executive, quote, Jim is a superior coach. Jim wears everyone out. I do not mean that he is a bad person. He isn't at all. I think the fact that the last few cycles that he hasn't been interviewed should say something, end quote. One of your tweets at Hondo Carpenter on Twitter. So, Hondo, thanks so much for the time, first of all. Second of all,
hey, I get a chance to hang out with my buddy Ryan, the legendary Maz, and a guy that I think is a top 5 all Big Ten player who doesn't want to take time on a 78-degree midwinter day.
Thanks, Hondo.
Thanks, Hondo. We appreciate that.
By the way, my mom said.
Braylon, I have taken so much crap for calling you one of the top 5 best ever. You better know, brother, as a Spartan, you're killing me, Small.
I love it. With the lean on me reference, Hondo, my mom said after watching you on the show last week, she said there is hope for Michigan State people. She said she likes you.
Hey, Hondo, let me ask you, what is the latest? And we'll start with Jim Harbaugh. What are you hearing? Is there still a connection? Has it soured? What do you make of it all?
Well, Ryan, this is difficult for me, and I want to explain why. And you've known me a long time. I think you know my integrity as a reporter.
Absolutely.
I don't hide the fact I'm a Spartan, but if you say anything critical, everyone says, well, you're just hating on Jim. Let me just say this. Jim Harbaugh is a great football coach. Jim Harbaugh is a man of great character. So this is not a slam on Jim personally at all. I think he's a great coach. Don't think he's a good one. In fact, I think all the Michigan fans that wanted him gone last year, I kept saying, who are you going to replace him with? Because you're not going to get anybody better. But I think Jim Harbaugh is in a dangerous position here, and I want to explain what I mean. He's made it clear to the NFL, I want to come back. And, another offseason of extending Michigan, the Michigan fans wondering. I was talking to a Michigan reporter yesterday who said, I can't report it because Michigan fans will get mad. He said, but I'm talking to recruits, and they're telling me, they're wondering, okay, wait a minute, I'm hearing from Michigan State, Ohio State, Notre Dame coaches, you want to stay there? Jim may not be there. I think Jim owes something to the University of Michigan. They've been good to him. Now, I don't think all the fans have, and I think it's ridiculous he took a pay cut last year. I'd have told him to pound sand. But I think he owes something to them to say, you know what? Tom Izzo has said, hey, you know what? I would one day like to coach in the NBA. I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm not going to lie to you. He's open about it. I think Jim needs to come out and address it because here's the problem. A lot of people know that Jim wants to go, that's what they believe, whether he's told them that or not. No one has come out and been specific with me. But in the NFL, it is generally accepted he wants to leave. Well, if you want to leave and you're staying, I think he owes something to Michigan. Either, hey, I'm here, I'm not taking another pay cut, I'm here, or you know what, I may leave. I think he needs to say something. Do I think he's in the mix? Absolutely. He's a great football coach. He should be in the mix, just like Tom Izzo should be in the mix for basketball jobs, and Juwan Howard for that matter. But I just think that there's a consensus around the league that maybe the Raiders were in on him quick, and that, because look, there goes my phone. Sorry about that.
What song was that?
It was Ted Nugent's White Buffalo.
There we go.
Hey, I just changed it. It used to be Flo Rida, Apple Bottom Jeans. I know for a big white hunter, that's not real good, Braylon.
I love you, Hondo.
What is wrong with him?
I love you, Hondo.
I love you too, brother. But anyways, my point is that I think everyone knows that he wants to go. Were the Raiders concerned that if they didn't interview enough guys, that they would have gotten in trouble with the Rooney Rule? And so what I would say to you is I think Jim owes Michigan a statement. Jim doesn't owe anybody in the NFL anything. He's a great coach. His resume speaks for itself. But I'll tell you, the word around the NFL is he wears people out. And because of that, I think that's a reason a lot of teams are nervous about getting him. He wears out support people. He wears out players. He wears out coaches. He wears out ownership. I think you can see some of that with people he's been with at Michigan, that he wears some of them out. And I think that's something that, you know what, he may say, it doesn't matter. Bill Belichick wears people out. Yup, Bill Belichick does too. Bill Belichick has more rings than Jim Harbaugh. And Jim has one ring since he's been at Michigan. And I think he owes the University of Michigan a statement. You can enjoy the rivalry, but I have 3 friends in my life that wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the University of Michigan Hospital and all that university has done medically. So while you don't have to like somebody athletically, it doesn't mean you hate that university. I think Michigan deserves a statement. And I know, here comes all the Twitter people in the basement whose girlfriend's last name is .jpeg. Michigan fan. You suck. You're a Spartan. I'm not ripping on Jim.
Don't worry about those people. Don't worry about them, Hondo.
We learned about them earlier here.
Let me ask you this question, though, Braylon. You're a legend. You should never have to buy a drink in Ann Arbor for the rest of your life again And I'm going to ask you a question. As a Wolverine, don't you think he owes your university a little bit of a statement? Hey, guys, I am looking, but I want to be here, but I just want to make sure I don't leave something on the table. Do you think he owes something, Braylon? Because they're out there trying to recruit the next Braylon Edwards. And, that's hard to find. And if they have a kid that they think could be that, and he's being told by other coaches, hey, he's going to go as soon as he can, don't you think that kid wants to hear something, Braylon, or do you think I'm totally wrong? I think you, of all of us, are the expert on this.
Well, I agree. Actually, I think Andrew Anthony might be a damn good wide receiver, but I agree with you on that. Both sides are stubborn because they're both Michigan. Jim Harbaugh got his degree at University of Michigan. His father coached at the University of Michigan. Him and Bo, the relationship they had, they go back. They're stubborn. They're arrogant. He's stubborn. He's arrogant. University of Michigan is stubborn and arrogant. So I think they're meeting like that because they are the same. I think he could give a statement, a press. I think that would help the fans out. I think that would help the institution out. I think they would appreciate it a bit more. I think it would be more so for the fans than the institution. But I want to go back to something you said. You talked about him wearing teams out, whether it's players, whether it's coaches, whether it's the training staff, whether it's the people in the food staff. I was there his second year in San Fran. I was there in 2011. I was there in training camp. This would have been my 7th training camp that I had entered under Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh had those coaches there every night till 1 in the morning. The infamous cot story, that didn't start in Ann Arbor. The cot started in San Francisco, probably started at Stanford and San Diego. He was always there, made his staff stay there. 1 o'clock, they can't go home and see their wives. They can't go home and see their kids. They're there. They have to be there as long as him. Kept players there. Keep in mind, during training camp, curfew is usually around 10. Curfew, you have to be in your rooms, wherever it is a hotel, it's a college dorm or whatever, have to be in there at 10. We were getting out of meetings at 10. Like during the season, we were hitting the whole season. I remember talking to soon-to-be Hall of Famer Patrick Willis, one of the best linebacker of his era. I remember talking to him, and he just was like, man, like, what the hell is your boy on? You know him from Michigan. Like, what is this stuff that we're going through? Like, players did not like him. Justin Tucker, former defensive tackle from Cincinnati Bengals, also really good player out there. Justin Smith, excuse me. He didn't like him. A lot of players hate him. Navarro Bowman, the list goes on. So when you say wearing players out, wearing coaches out, where guys have private conversations about you, whenever you can have the training staff, equipment staff, players, and coaching staff all in the same page talking about one person, it's not a good look, and I agree with you 100%. And that's coming from me being there and seeing it with my own 2 eyes.
Well, I talked to a player, Braylon, who said to me one time, who played for Jim in the pros, he said, when I could see him in college, he goes, but when I got to the pros, we're family people. We've got kids in school. Our daughters have ballet. And he said, and it just was the point where he goes, I was willing to walk away from the NFL rather than I mean, you got to understand, a lot of these guys after a contract, 2 for sure, they don't need any more money. They're playing for the love of the game. And he just said it was just no fun for me. And luckily, he goes, I was able to get out of there and go play 3 more years somewhere else. But I think that's the point. There's a lot of baggage that comes with Jim Harbaugh, and I'm not talking about integrity. I'm not talking about character, but there's a lot of baggage that comes. He's all football all the time, and that's not the world that most people live in, and that's causing people to really step back.
Hey, Hondo, I got to take a 30-second break. Can we keep you a couple more minutes?
If you don't, I'm going to be disappointed.
I knew that was coming.
So we're going to take a break. Also, breaking news regarding the University of Michigan coaching staff. We'll have that for you as well. Coming 30 seconds. Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, The Bottom Line. With my man Hondo.
Everybody.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Breaking news from the Detroit Free Press. It is expected that Michigan defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald will return to the Baltimore Ravens as defensive coordinator. Mike Macdonald came from Baltimore to Michigan to be the defensive coordinator for Michigan. He was a defensive assistant under Wink Martindale, defensive coordinator there a long time, and Wink Martindale was recently let go, surprisingly, And now John calls up Jim and says, "Hey, Jim, I need my guy back."
Wink has the best one-liners in history.
So
maybe Jim will take Wink.
So what?
Isn't it called, you can't say that word anymore nowadays in this culture, but when you give something, you take it back. Isn't that what this would be?
A giver?
A giver.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go. Let's bring it back. Hondo Carpenter, SI Raiders maven. Of course, Spartans, MSU Spartans cover them long time, still does as well. Hondo, you see players leaving, recruits not knowing what's going on, coaches leaving. Is there any doubt to you that if offered the job, there's a 100% degree of certainty that he would take that job?
Absolutely. Again, that's just the feeling around the NFL. I've not talked to Jim, is that he wants out. And if somebody will open the door, he'll run through it. And one guy even said to me, he goes, I think if Jim's offered the Raiders, he'll crawl to Vegas and get there. So, you know what? I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, if there was, I think he would just come out and address it and just say, you know, I'm going to go back to this. I remember covering Izzo when he almost took the Cleveland Cavalier job. And he was just incredibly transparent about it. And he talked about it and said, guys, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to talk with them. I'm going to look at everything. But nothing's just going to happen last second. And at the end of the day, Tom made his decision to stay. I think there are ways to do it and ways not to do it. I'll give you a good example. Butch Jones is one of my best friends, former coach at Central, Tennessee, Cincinnati. When he left Cincinnati to go to Tennessee, his players cried, hugged him, loved on him, told him how happy they were because he got generational wealth. When Brian Kelly left Cincinnati, they were pissed and mad, screaming and yelling, because it's all in how you do something. It's just like asking a tough question as a press conference. I've never once had a player get mad at me for asking a tough question, because I don't make the question about their character as a human being. You know, if you say to Braylon Elledge, gee, in your career you dropped 2 balls, what happened? Okay, he's not going to get mad. He knows you dropped the 2 balls. And I mean, but when you go up and say, geez, you played like crap, were you out? You know, what happened? Why don't you care anymore? You know, there's a way to ask questions. There's a way to do things. And I think that Jim isn't doing it right. And I think he owes that university better, especially since it's his home.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, they let him stay. And we talked yesterday. We said everything is now. It's the quarterback. You want him to win now. You want the head coach to win now. Everything is now. Jim Harbaugh in Michigan, probably the last good example of good things come to those who wait. But I phrase this question to you, Hondo. Where does this leave Jim Harbaugh? Because it seems like he definitely wants out of Michigan, because there's no David Ojabo, there's no Aiden Hutchinson. You know, the quarterback situation, you're losing 2 offensive linemen. So maybe
Mike McDonald.
McDonald's gone. You have, insert another new coach, 2 new coaches on the coaching staff. So he's trying to get out, and his players are watching him. His coaches are watching him, trying to do the scramble dance, but nobody has interviewed him yet. And the 9 teams that are open, nobody's interviewed him. Where does that leave him if no one hires him? Nobody brings him on. He doesn't leave.
He talked to the Bears on the phone, though, for about a minute.
Okay, excuse me. He did have one conversation for 1 minute with the Bears, kind of like a courtesy call, but there was a courtesy flush on the Bears' end. Where does that leave Jim Harbaugh next year if he has to go back? Well, not next year. This season, let's say 2 weeks. If he goes back to Michigan, where the hell does that leave him and the team?
Well, it depends on what kind of a Wolverine you are. First of all, you're not going to get a better coach. And one thing I think that everyone can say about Jim Harbaugh, whether you love the man or hate the man, and you should respect his ability as a coach, he's going to give Michigan all that he has. He's not going to go out there and do a terrible job and not give maximum effort. So I think the first thing, if you're Michigan, you have to ask, okay, if he leaves, are we going to get somebody better? You know, that's a question right now the Raiders are asking themselves. They got Rich Bisaccia, who did an absolutely phenomenal job coaching this team after John Gruden resigned. That man has earned the right to be a head coach. So think about this one. I wrote about this in my article yesterday. Whoever Mark Davis brings in, he's got to get to a minimum of 10 wins and at least win 1 playoff game, or everyone's going to be like, well, we had Bisaccia, and he was a lot cheaper, and at least we got here with him, and all of our players love him. I mean, that's a big question. If you're Michigan, okay, if Jim goes, who are you going to get that's better? Because I'm going to tell you, Michigan is a political place now. That is a political place. And there's going to be a lot of juxtaposing for power when Jim leaves because he owns a lot of it, has a lot of it in his hand. I think Michigan, regardless, when Harbaugh leaves, is going to be in bad shape. And I'll go, in case you're thinking I'm picking on Michigan. When Tom Izzo leaves Michigan State, they're in a world of hurt up in East Lansing when Tom Izzo leaves. Same principle here. If you're Michigan, I think you welcome him back. Thank God you got him for another year. The suites are going to be full. The tickets are going to be so full. The cash registers are going to be full. You may need to pay some people around him more because he's wearing them out. But at the end of the day, you think you're glad he's back.
Hondo, I got something on the Raiders for you. You're not the only guy we know in Vegas. So we've heard some other stuff. Josh McDaniels, Gerard Mayo, combination, head coach, defensive coordinator. We hear that Mark Davis would love to have that combination in Vegas. What are you hearing on those two guys?
Good question, Maz. I wrote about it yesterday. Absolutely. Gerard Mayo is a guy, and Braylon, you may remember him in his time in the league.
Played against him.
He had incredible instincts. This guy had the ability to see plays almost from one guy told me, he goes, I thought the guy had eyes on the side of his head and the back of his head. And very few players with those instincts are able to carry those over into the coaching world. And he has. Now, I wrote about this yesterday. Bill Belichick's motto is, do your job. So the reason that the feeling around the league is that a lot of his guys have failed, I think Patricia failed because I think he's terrible, but the reason a lot of them have failed is because they don't ever get a chance to see what it's like to be in Bill's seat. Bill does it all. So they get out there, and that in the head coaching chair is a lot of chairs. Josh McDaniels has that experience already under his belt. He is an absolutely terrific offensive coordinator. He would be a home run hire. I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm Mark Davis, my first hire is to go get Sean Payton. I wrote about it yesterday. If I can't get him, I keep Rich Bisaccia, and if I'm not sure that Rich is the guy, then I go get Josh McDaniels in a heartbeat. He's got Gerard Mayo, who I think is going to be a great head coach in the NFL. Here's the problem, though. If you give a guy, white or black, a bad job, it's like the Lions' job. How stupid do the Lions look for Caldwell? Does Mark Davis want to be the Lions squared? Because now he's fired two coaches that have taken him to the playoffs. And if you give a coach a bad team and he fails, he doesn't get those second chances. And the Raiders are not a bad team. This is not where you go to learn to be a head coach. This is already a team, a playoff team. So I think you got to go get a guy with experience. If you can get Josh McDaniels and Gerard Mayo, you jump at that. You jump. Those are two great coaches. And I'll go on the record, keep the video. I'll be held accountable. Mayo is going to be a head coach in the National Football League one day, and he's not going to be good. He's going to be great. I think he's the next Mike Tomlin. And not because of his color. I think he's the next Mike Tomlin because of his brain.
How about that? The great Hondo Carpenter,
Mike
man.
Tomlin.
We can't thank you enough for your time, Hondo. And I'll leave you with this. If you had to put it down right now, you do live and work in Vegas. So there's a situation there. If you had to put your money down right now, who would be the next coach of the Raiders?
Man, it's 50-50. Josh McDaniels. I'm really, or Rich. I'm going to tell you, Ryan, I'm being honest. Early it was Harbaugh, but the longer this thing goes on and it's not Jimmy, I think that his chances are dwindling every day. And here's a big sign I'll give your people. I wrote about it yesterday. Yep. Gus Bradley's a tremendous defensive coordinator for the Raiders. He's good. They got a really good defensive staff.
I was in Seattle with Gus.
Yeah, so you know, Braylon, and he has not taken another job. Nobody's called. He's there. That tells you in the room. Those guys in the room think Rich Bisaccia is going to get the job. So I'm telling you, as long as it goes, I just think Rich's chances are going up every day, and Jim's chances are falling. So for whatever it's worth, there you go.
There it is. It's worth a lot, Hondo. We can't thank you enough. And, hey, spitting facts about Michigan. Nobody can call you out if it's facts, right? And sometimes facts are mean.
Well, that's the same thing about Izzo, though, guys. Hey. Michigan State is in the crapper. when Izzo's gone.
Hey, look, Hondo.
It might be in the crapper right now.
Known you a long
Alex
time.
off.
Your integrity.
What you talking about, Willis?
Man, you call it like you see it.
Illinois.
I appreciate you, Hondo Carpenter. Thanks so much, my friend. We got to run. Hondo Carpenter. Follow him on
appreciate
Twitter
you, buddy.
at
Appreciate
Hondo
you.
Carpenter. Get the latest Raiders news. SI Raiders Maven. How about that? Guys, I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm. Can I?
Please.
How about this? Stay out. You stick that black and yellow sign out in front of your house. It tells the bad guys one thing.
Don't
It says,
you dare
Stay the
come
hell
this way.
out.
Stay out.
That's right.
Get
Guardian
out.
Alarm, boy, they get it. A good offense, always defeated by a good defense.
I'm trying
Well,
to
not
tell you.
always.
For the most part.
For the most part. Yeah,
With
when-
except the Rams. Except the Rams,
except
they're Super
the
Bowl.
Bills and the yes. But
Chiefs.
in terms of home security, a good defense always wins. That's right. Guardian Alarm, 24/7 local monitoring, convenient features that let you check in on your home, your business, control your lights, temperatures, detect smoke, carbon monoxide, even gonna let you lock and unlock your doors. All you have to do is call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Nope,
Hell
nope,
out.
nope, nope.
Yep,
nope. One more time.
1-800-STAY-OUT. Stay out.
out. Get
Guardian
away.
Alarm, get out of here.
Leave
Stay
right
out.
now.
Guardian Alarm, your local security
Why are you
expert.
still here? Leave.
Silence,
Get out.
fish.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
You want commercials? The other guys have those. You want great sports takes? Touchdown! What a play! Woodward Sports has those. Detroit's new sports outlet, the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey guys, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsor and the place I put my sports wagering in. If you're a first timer to sports wagering, welcome to Michigan. One of the highest sports betting places in the country, and you can do it right here at MyBookie.ag with the promo code Woodward, because they're going to double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. That's right, you can do it. You got the NBA and the NHL for the rest of this week, and then the big one on Sunday.
Oh, Australian
It's the
Open?
AFC NFC Championship. Australian Open. Let me know when Djokovic is in it. Then I'll pay attention
Get
to
out
it.
till 2028.
Besides that,
He's gotta
you
get
can
out the
bet
airport.
anything you want. Bet the NFC AFC Championship. Do it at MyBookie. Use the promo code Woodward. Double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. If you have a gambling problem, please call the Michigan Gambling Hotline. 1-800-270-7117.
All right, guys, I want to hit you top of the hour. We just talked about the Raiders coaching situation. There are 9 total. 9.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
9.
Isn't that a song? 9.
9. Oh, yeah.
Hey.
9 head coaching openings in the NFL. That is more than a quarter of the league is open. That is a remarkable, staggering number. Who's who, where's where, what's the best job,
You want to
who's
be my
the first
OC?
to go.
I'm going to throw my hat in the ring.
Man,
I'm going to coach Maz, you be the DC.
I love
Ryan,
it.
the
I'm
OC.
telling you, I
get in
could
there.
be the OC for sure
You
in
be special
that.
teams coordinator, you got it.
Let me ask you guys, and Braylon, I'll come to you first with this. Of these 9 head coaching jobs, what job you get first crack at any of these head coaching openings, where would you go? And where wouldn't you go?
Asterisk. So my one is Raiders. I'm going there. I think they have what it takes right now. They have a quarterback. They got one of those first-round quarterbacks you talk about. They got a team that believes in set quarterback. They have a defense in place. They have an offense in place. They have what you need right now, and they want to be together. They want to stay together under Rich Bisaccia. So I think that that is number one. Asterisk, man. If you get a quarterback like the Aaron Rodgers situation. You look at the Broncos situation. My dad talked about he didn't like John Elway's front office managing. I can agree with some of that. I mean, he still bought in Peyton Manning when a lot of people wouldn't give him a shot. They won the Super Bowl. They broke a lot of records that year. You bring in Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, because Devontae Adams is up. You bring in Aaron and Devontae. That's why I said the Broncos are my one asterisk. But just on what's on display right now, I'm taking the Raiders, and where I wouldn't want to go, Probably two places, man. I wouldn't want to go to New York, and I wouldn't want to go to
New Orleans.
I would say Houston. I would agree. I wouldn't want to go to Houston. Houston is a you-know-what show. New York has been that way for a very long time. I think Chicago is fixable. I know that sounds crazy because they've had 30 years of inconsistency, but I think Chicago, you have Justin Fields, you have really good defense. You know, you get Khalil Mack back, Robert Quinn, Hakeem Nicks. You got Montgomery in the backfield. You got some wide receivers. That's a fixable situation. Giants and Texans, you can kiss my butt.
Let me read for you, Maz, the two worst situations in the NFL right now. Here is the write-up from the Sporting News today. Sean Payton got out just in the right time. The team has the worst cap situation in the NFL with no clear solution in the immediate. Speaking of no clear solutions, the team has no real option for a franchise quarterback on the roster, and the 2022 draft might not offer any answers either when the Saints' first-round pick rolls around. The Saints can play kick the can all they want with the contracts that they have, but it looks like now they have no option but to trade away some of their higher-priced quality veterans for cap relief this offseason. Coupled with the quarterback situation, that means the Saints have a long road back to contention. That's going to be incredibly difficult for anyone not named Sean Payton to navigate. So that was on the Saints situation. You ready for the Giants?
Go ahead.
This might be the worst state the Giants franchise has been in quite some time. They have plenty of draft picks to kick off a new era, right, but their cap situation isn't ideal. The offense is broken and the defense is pricey and just above average. Dave Gettleman retiring, Joe Judge both getting the boot. The Giants are going to have to take a long, hard look at their organization and hit the reset button. So many questions, so few answers. What will they do with Daniel Jones? What will become of Saquon Barkley? How long will this take?
Wow.
Speaking of the Giants, guess who's going to be an offensive coach now? Coordinator. With Matt Rule.
Bob McAdoo.
How do you, as Matt Rule, say we want to make this fresh? We want rock stars. We're going after, and then you hire Bob McAdoo as your OC.
They're going down together.
I swear to God, that franchise they just need to start over. Get rid of everybody.
Listen to me.
Get rid of everybody.
As an NFL historian, which I am, a lover. I had two jobs to pick on there, and it's probably two of the worst jobs. I would want to be a New York Giants head coach, or I'd want to be the Chicago Bears head coach.
Take away your love for Chicago, and that's a biased opinion. Take away your love for Chicago. If you still choose, New York. If you still choose New York, I'll go with it. But just take away your love real quick. Would you still choose?
Yes.
Okay. I believe you too.
Do you want to hear the write-up on the Bears?
Go ahead.
Number 2 best job available.
Oh, really?
There are several reasons why the Bears' job is one of the most appealing in the NFL right now. First, a near total organizational reset. New general manager Ryan Poles getting to pick his own head coach instantly lends some good synergy in the building. They won't be able to pick their own quarterback unless something goes really wrong in the Justin Fields evaluation. But the guy they have under center has plenty of potential to get potential candidates salivating. The biggest hurdle is lack of first-round pick, but they have cap space, they have playmakers, and they have a quarterback.
And they have a defense. I keep going back to Khalil Mack didn't play this year. Robert Quinn had 19 sacks. Hakeem Nicks was all over the place for them in terms of clogging up the run. Now you get Khalil Mack back. That's an interesting situation, right?
I'm just saying, man. There's 9 jobs which I've never seen before open like this. But if I wanted to make a move, I wanted to talk to the Maras and the Tishes in New York, and they told me, look, you're a first-time coach or you're a second-time coach. We're going to give you 5 years. We're not going to fire you. We don't care about the media. We have our new general manager. He come over from Buffalo. Yeah. They're probably going to hire Brian Dable to go with the Buffalo general manager I forgot his last name. Joe Schoen now is the general manager of the Giants. He brings Brian Dable over from Buffalo. So they got Western New York now going to Midtown Manhattan, actually Jersey, East Rutherford, New Jersey. If I'm given 5 years by the Maras and Tishes, you want that job because it'll put you on the map forever. That's the job that'll put you on the map forever. The Bears, historic franchise, sure. Won Super Bowl, 1985. We all know about it, and they really haven't done much since. How many times have they been competitive since 1985?
How many coaches have been put on the map since Tom Coughlin?
I know.
Look at this board.
The Raiders would be third for me.
Look at this board, though. You have some of the most preeminent franchises
of all time.
Forget about football. in sports.
Yeah.
The New York Giants, the Chicago Bears, the Raiders.
There's only two teams on that list that don't have a Super Bowl.
Houston,
Jags, and Texans.
And the Jags.
And well, Minnesota didn't
Well,
win a
they're
Super Bowl.
0-4.
Okay.
Yeah, but they've been.
But nonetheless, I mean, you've got some
Wilbur
preeminent
Marshall?
franchises
No,
in
Bears.
all of sports on this board. The best job, by the way, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Do you think?
The Jaguars having the best available job 2 years in a row. Owner Shad Khan, typically a patient guy. Urban Meyer situation notwithstanding.
We're going to talk about him soon.
You've got a franchise quarterback in the most cap space in the league. You get good quickly. Now,
Is he a franchise quarterback?
I don't believe so. That's me.
I mean, what a beating.
never
Yeah.
liked him. I never liked him. And I don't know if it's because of the California locks.
Like Sunshine and
like Sunshine in Remember the Titans.
Sunshine.
I just don't believe in him for whatever reason. I just don't think his game specifically translates to the NFL.
You want my 1 to 9?
Yeah.
I had Raiders, Bears, Dolphins, Giants. I put the Giants in there because they're the Giants.
Sure.
Everything Matt says is true. They are the Giants, and it is New York. I got Vikings, Saints, Broncos, Jags, Texans.
Meanwhile, you're taking any job you get. There's nobody that's,
I know somebody who's going to take any job thrown at him.
Who?
You're supposed to know.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man. They say we got good chemistry, man. Keep it going.
So anyway, that's fun stuff to do. I really like it. It's also fun stuff to do.
Oh, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute, but coming up next, we are going to bring back a little fun. It's called Man
Chill Out.
We'll see you next.
Hermione and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network.
The bottom
line.
Woodward Sports Network. The bottom line.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Braylon catches TDs.
On the slant, there goes Braylon Edwards. Edwards on a foot race, and no one's going to get near him. 80 yards for the touchdown.
Ryan catches Pokemon. We all have our strengths. The bottom line on Woodward Sports.
50 formulas went into making what is now called Gypsy Vodka, and it is Michigan's gluten-free vodka of choice. I love this stuff. I think everyone here at Woodward Sports loves it. It is amazing. Goes well with Centron. It just goes well with after a day. You have a nice day at work. You come home. It could be stressful. It could be a good day, a bad day. There's no such thing as how you take it, how you absorb it. Go home, kick your feet up, pour your nice little glass of Gypsy Vodka. Don't have too many, just one. Do you just right. Smooth taste. Oh, man, this stuff is great. You know why the taste is smooth, Ryan?
Why is that?
Because it's corn distilled 6 times with artesian spring water. Say it again, fish. That's what I'm talking about. This stuff is the stuff of dreams. Adam and Mike, we really appreciate you allowing us to talk about this good vodka on there every day. This stuff is amazing. Go into your local neighborhood liquor store and ask for Gypsy Vodka. And if you're going to drink, remember, drink responsibly.
Hey, gang, we used to have a lot of fun with this segment, and, we have just so much content. We're like, we got to keep going with the conversation, but we're going to have a little fun today. We're going to do what we call, Man Chill Out.
Do you think it's funny?
Chill, Daddy.
Pack your bags, get the hell off. Now, do you understand what you did?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
All right, so here we go, guys. Just a little something that rubs you the wrong way in sports. And what's rubbing me the wrong way right now is NBA officials. And NBA officials as they relate to Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham was flat out ridiculous last night. 34 points, a career high, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 blocks. The only other player to do that in his career as a rookie is the great Michael Jordan.
Leads the league in points, second in rebounds, second in assists, and second in blocks.
Do you know how many of those 34 points came from the free throw line?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Close your eyes. What do you see?
0.
Stars.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not only 0 free throws in this game, but in the last 5 games, 0 free throws, 3 free throws, 4 free throws, 5 free throws, 0 free throws. Twice in the last 5 games, a guy who's got the ball in his hands as much as he does, and a guy who goes to the basket as much as he does, doesn't get fouled. It's time to start putting some respect on his name and treating him like the superstar that he is, because he is becoming that. And he's our next great superstar here in the Motor City, Cade Cunningham. So to the NBA officials, I say to you, man, chill out.
He's our next Grant Hill.
Yeah, he's not as athletic, but outside of that, he is exactly Grant Hill. I think he shoots a little bit better from the three-point line, but that's a hell of a comparison. The one thing I would say is, one, they've changed the rules in NBA. They're letting a lot of things play now, which is an interesting year for him.
I like that.
Yeah. Which is an interesting year for him to be a rookie, because they're letting them play a lot. So he's not getting calls because they're not calling for a lot of people. 2, man, you know what it is. When you're young, you got to bide your time to start getting calls. Like even LeBron rookie in year 1, and Carmelo and D-Wade, you got to buy your time, earn your keep, and when the refs start to look at you, like,
especially when you're playing for a bad team.
Especially when you play for a bad team. And 3, I don't know if he knows how to get those calls yet. I don't know if he knows how to get in there, get the contact, and make. So all 3 of those things do add to that. But you're absolutely right. Somebody better put some damn respect on Cade Cunningham's name.
He should watch Trae Young tape.
There's Cade Cunningham, then there's room between 2. Then there's Jalen Green, and then there's everybody else. Cade Cunningham has definitely put himself in that level.
I like the kid in Toronto.
Who you got, Bray?
Aaron Rodgers. Like, every time we do Man Chill Out, I feel like every other one is going to be Aaron Rodgers. I think this may be the 4th time I've used Aaron Rodgers, and I'll make it simple. Aaron Rodgers, everybody talks about him being the best regular season quarterback of all time, and he just can't get it done in the playoffs. Like, for whatever his regular season, yeah, it's all great. 10 times Pro Bowl, 4 times Pro Bowl, 10 times All-Pro, 4 times Pro Bowl, probably be the MVP this year, will be the 4th time, but he can't get it done in the playoffs when it matters. 4-2 in the wild card, 5-4 in the divisional, 1-5 in the NFC Championship game, even when they host at home. He's had some bad losses too in the playoffs. He's had some bad NFC Championship losses. Let's see if I can find. It doesn't matter.
This last one was his worst one.
They lost 44-21 to Atlanta. You know, they lost 19. They let the Seahawks come back out there. So at the end of the day, I'll get to this. If you say someone's the best, you cannot say the best. He's the best regular season. This, he has a ring and blah blah blah. His best throw to football. That's BS. That's malarkey. Because every time he's put in a situation to do something, 13-3, 13-3, I see no result in the Super Bowl. I see no result in the playoffs. If you're going to tell me that somebody's that special, then that guy has to make a play. Like, I need to see him make a couple more plays, win a couple more games, get to the Super Bowl, maybe win another couple Super Bowls. That's what special players do. Montana found a way to find Dwight Clark. He found a way to find Dwight Clark. Troy Aikman has even had moments that are outside Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. They're Troy Aikman's moments. Steve Young. Go down the list of great quarterback here. You got to be able to make a play. I know that Rob Parker calls him LOAT, but even the GOAT has made play after yards after yards after fourth quarter drive to come back in the playoffs to lead the Patriots to Super Bowl prowess, to lead them past AFC rivals. So what I would say to Aaron Rodgers, who got the better deal? Because I think Aaron got the best of Green Bay. He's super popular, super huge. You got guys arguing about how great he is. Meanwhile, they got 1 Super Bowl in 17 years. To Aaron Rodgers, I say, man, chill out.
You want to know his greatest moment? Happened against the Lions.
Regular
the Hail
season.
Mary. That's it. That's his greatest moment.
And the one against Dallas, was it Dallas?
Yeah, Dallas on the sideline. Because even the Super Bowl,
I'm a fan.
Even the Super Bowl win, Jay Cutler doesn't play the second half, and I'm not playing the what-if game. Jay Cutler was killing that game, doesn't play the second half. And even in the Super Bowl, they played the Steelers. Steelers were terrible. We lost to the Steelers that year in the AFC Championship game. They were horrible. Thank you, Brian Schottenheimer, by the way. That's another man chill out. Thank you.
He'll be tomorrow's man chill out, Brian
Thanks for nothing.
They were horrible that year. So Aaron Rodgers, even his one ring is a sham, although there's no such thing as a sham ring except for Namath's. But it's a whole nother story.
Except for whose?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I said you name it.
Okay.
You name it.
Thank you.
What do you got, Maz?
I got, come on, brother. What are you doing? John Harbaugh stealing from his brother Jim Harbaugh.
I like that one.
Mike McDonald is gone. That's right. The defensive coordinator has left Ann Arbor. He is now the defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens, taking over for Wink Martindale, which it's a great gig. I can't blame Mike McDonald, but brother stealing from brother, I'm telling you, man, as a Michigan fan, I'm a little bit nervous coming up for this season. I really am. There's a lot in flux right now. You lose your two best defensive players. Your coach is halfway out the door, and now he lost the one guy that we thought, wow, this Mike McDonald. I mean, thank God we got this guy. Look what he did to this defense. Sure, it helped that he had Hutchinson and Ojabo, but hell, man, we even thought maybe he's the next head coach of Michigan, but he's gone.
David Ojabo was he was basically helping the practice team during practice. So it's not like David Ojabo is this guy that came in highly touted, highly recruited. He was on the practice squad, for God's sakes, a year ago. And now he's done that. Mike McDonald is a part of that, to your point.
Shit, man, I guess he's gone. Hey, John Harbaugh, I do love you.
Yeah.
But chill out, man, stealing our guy.
Right.
Yeah,
very good.
It's a Welch situation, as my mom told me. It's called being a Welch.
By the way, John Harbaugh getting an extension with the Ravens anytime now. So he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, you got that for sure. All right, guys. We are going to hear from Kelly Stafford next. Okay, Kelly Stafford with some very interesting comments regarding that Ndamukong Suh, Matthew Stafford.
That was weird.
I'm going to bleep and kill you situation. Yeah. But first, I want to tell you about Les Stanford. You guys ready for it?
Hey, man,
you want to hear
for
about
it.
Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac?
I would love to. I want to find some new ways to find new roads.
Want to tell you about it. Les Stanford Chevrolet, located in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. General Motors announced the all-new electric Chevrolet Silverado. That's right. Reservations now open at Chevy.com. Les Stanford going to have one of the largest allocations of that vehicle, so you're going to want to make sure you get in line. At Les Stanford Chevrolet. All you have to do is, give them a call if you want any of your auto needs met at 313-565-6000, 313-565-6000, or hit them up online, lesstanford.com, lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet, find new roads.
Yes, sir.
Please
find them.
Stanford.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Mads for the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. What is folding? It's throwing a football at bowling pins. Two of my favorite games, and you can bring them both together and play it in Hamtramck. That's right. The inventor and your host, Chris Hutt, and his wife, Noni Hutt, welcome you. It's a fun place. You can do lots of things. You can play a couple ways. Host your corporate party, host a team building event, or just come in with family and friends. $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. Don't forget, they got over 100 beers, that $2 mystery beer machine, and multiple full bars at your disposal. Open to close right there at the Folding Warehouse. Bring your own food in or even have it delivered. Any way you want to do it, just come get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
All right, gang, if you are not listening to the Morning After podcast with Kelly Stafford, there's some...
What is that about?
Really?
The only Morning After I know
is the
you
Morning After...
you buy the CVS.
Yeah, right. She got a very interesting podcast. Very, very smart woman, very provocative.
She's good on the air, too.
She is, very provocative. Well, she had some thoughts about Ndamukong Suh and this situation, which we're all watching here in Detroit, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, did anybody realize what appeared to be the hatred of Ndamukong Suh for Matthew Stafford? I had no clue.
I had no idea either. Teammates, one got paid, and one left
didn't.
town.
And one got shipped out.
That
could be the only thing. That's the only reason I think.
But we always thought that he didn't want to be here. And you know a little bit more. You know his sister, Braylon. I'm talking to you. And Sue.
Yeah,
she runs his business.
Yep.
And
she's still here.
I love the guy, and he was our face of our franchise. He really was.
Mm-hmm.
He was the face of our franchise. He got us on SportsCenter daily.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he was kicking or biting or doing whatever.
I say it was a three-headed race for he did something to get us
Calvin
on there.
and Matt, yeah.
Yeah. I would say it was a three-headed. Like none of them ever kind of like stood. Calvin kind of sorted to a certain extent, but that maybe have been later. I didn't mean to cut you off. I never thought he wanted to be a leader here. Like, and I know it was about the money they didn't pay him. It just seemed like he never wanted to be a leader. Like they kind of try to thrust the leader role. Because to your point, Maz, he was like one of the faces. He was the guy for us. He just never seemed like he wanted to accept like a leader role. And then they didn't pay him. So I think that goes hand in hand. And to your point, maybe there was something there. Maybe he felt like Stafford should have stuck up for him. Yeah, maybe he felt like Stafford should have took a pay cut. Something should have happened, I think. From his end, that's why he was that way.
So this is from Kelly Stafford. This is about 4 minutes long. We're going to play it for you. Kelly Stafford talking about Matt Stafford and the Ndamukong Suh situation. Here it is. 4 minutes.
Another note that I did want to touch on. I'm going to touch on it briefly, but I had a bunch. I honestly wasn't even going to talk about it because I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But then I saw the replay. A lot of you DM'd and asked what happened between Matthew and Suh. So Suh, if you guys don't know, is Ndamukong Suh. He was number 93 for Tampa. He played with Matthew for many years in Detroit. Not really sure why Suh doesn't like Matthew, but Suh doesn't like Matthew. And it's become this weird dynamic in the past couple of years. Like Suh will come out in the media and say stuff. It doesn't even matter. Like it doesn't faze Matthew. It doesn't faze. I mean, like it's just like is what it is.
Also, Matthew doesn't seem like somebody who is unlikable. I don't know anybody publicly who doesn't like Matthew.
He's a very nice guy, especially a teammate. Like he is a very good teammate. But you know what? It's fine. Is what it is. Whatever. So anyways, I see Suh in his face. Like I'm watching real time and I'm like, what is that about? And then they throw the flag. And I'm like, what just happened? And at first I don't realize it's Suh. I'm like, what just happened? And I turn around and I look at the replay in the suite and I see Suh. I realize it's Suh and I'm like, this is interesting. And he is in Matthew's face saying, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. Those are his words.
Fighting words.
And to be honest, if I was Matthew, I'd be like, I'm terrified because you are a monster and you could really do some harm. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, F you, Suh. Like, what is wrong? Like, relax, dude. It's football. And I have no idea what just triggered that. So then I asked Matthew this morning, last night. And he was like, honestly, like, I don't really know what happened. He's like, I didn't really know who tackled me, but I remember getting put to the ground and someone on me. And so I got him off me to try to go to the next play. And then Suh was in my face telling me he was going to fuck me up. And I was like, what? I don't understand. He's like, I mean, who's going to understand it? Whatever. It doesn't matter. But like, it infuriated me because you know what? To stand up and tell someone that you're going to them up after you spent years together in an organization and did appearances together and there was never really issues. It was just like he just never I guess I don't know. Matthew's like, I don't know. I guess he doesn't like me. This is news to me. Really don't know. This is when like he would say stuff to me. He was like, I don't know why he doesn't like me, but I guess he just doesn't like me. So he kind of like giggled about it when I asked him about it. He was like, I have no fucking idea what this guy's doing. Like I don't know why he's so angry at me. Like okay. So and Suh has a reputation. And I do think that I think players should get clean slates. You know what? Players grow, players change, they make mistakes. Like everybody makes mistakes. No one's perfect.
They also start out in the league so young and like think about we were doing it 24 as opposed to 32, 33.
I totally agree. So I'm like trying to give, some grace here and not get very upset about the massive man threatening my husband. But like at the same time, like, are you kidding? What are you doing? And everyone's like, I can't believe that was taunting. I'm sorry. If someone got in your face and said, I'm going to fuck you up multiple times, pretty sure you'd consider that taunting. And so anyways, it's water under the bridge now. Matthew could care less. But I just want to point out one thing. The best way to say F you to someone without having to actually say it is to throw a dime right in their face at a 0-out blitz and he's coming for you, and you throw it right as he hits you, and it hits Cooper right in the hands, and you go and your kicker kicks a game-winning field goal. So I thought it was very interesting. They brought a all-out zero blitz, which on the last play of the game, which if you don't know what that is, they basically bring everybody to try to get to Matthew. And Matthew's been very good against an all-out blitz all year. So it's a very interesting call in general. So he saw it coming and just waited until Suh got as close as he could and then launched it right in his face. And I'm like, that's a way to say F you without having to say F you. Could not have been more excited for that.
Well, there you go. Kelly Stafford.
We could have just played that last 7 seconds.
A lot of FUs.
No, I'm not on you. I was talking about in terms of how hard she hit that home run in the last 7 seconds.
Well, I like the part where she said, I asked Matthew in the morning, like, what is the deal with that? And he's like, I don't know. I mean, there's a line in Rocky from Gazzo.
Yeah.
Gazzo says, because Gazzo's driver, Gazzo's driver doesn't like Rocky.
Yeah.
He said, I don't like your face. Well, I don't like you. And then Gazzo says to Rocky, some guys, they just hate for no reason. Buddy doesn't like you.
No, that's real.
And maybe Suh just doesn't like, we just heard a player yesterday for the Miami Dolphins say that Tua Tagovailoa is wasting his career. Maybe Suh feels like that about Stafford.
Yeah.
In Detroit and bouncing around from Detroit to Miami to the Rams to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's been around the block now too.
Last 2 stops work for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 2 things. One, maybe he wanted Stafford to speak up more. Like a lot of fans of the Detroit Lions have come out and said, they didn't like the way that Matt would talk up. He wasn't a vocal leader. He wouldn't speak about things. He didn't come out. So maybe that's something he didn't like. Maybe there was some moves that he vetoed. Maybe there's some silence that he had that cost, or he felt. You just never know.
But don't you remember? That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. He spoke up. He told the refs, that's unbelievable. How do you pick up that flag?
Well, in that moment, you almost got to be a dead person not to speak up in that moment. That's a
Caldwell didn't.
It's not about that. I'm speculating here, so I'm reaching for something. You never know what gets people upset with you. Kellen Winslow was a teammate of mine. God rest his soul. Was a teammate of mine, and we were very good friends. Like when I was in Cleveland, very good friends. He actually left Cleveland before I did. He leaves and goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I stayed another year in Cleveland, and I ended up going to the Jets. Then I played for the 49ers, and they asked me about Vernon. Like as soon as I got to training camp, they asked me a question in my press conference. Said, "Who's the best tight end you played with?" I compared Vernon Davis to some people, and my comment was, I think Vernon Davis is the most athletic tight end I ever played with. I didn't say best tight end. I said the most athletic. Well, he ran 4.3 at his pro day. He was a monster and a freak of nature. Come to find out through the league, Kellen was mad at me. I was like, I don't know why Kellen's mad at me. And then we played against Tampa. He didn't speak to me. The whole warm-ups. Didn't speak to me. This is a guy, we've been through a lot together in Cleveland. We survived Cleveland, as I say. Literally didn't speak to me. I didn't know what it was, tried to talk to him. It took years, and finally we were on the same team in Seattle during training camp. He was cut. I made the team. And he told me, he said he was mad that I said Vernon Davis was better than him.
Well, how about
it took 4 years for him to tell me. He said, and we've been through a lot. It took 4 years for him to say, you said Vernon Davis was better. I said, 1, you have a phone. 2, it has my number in it. 3, no, the hell I didn't.
And not only that, but I feel like you just went through this with Terrell Owens.
Oh, my God. Yes.
By the way, Vernon Davis was better than him.
Vernon Davis is better in the NFL. Kellen Winslow, if he doesn't get into the motorcycle crash, would have been the best pass receiving tight end of all. I've never been around somebody that gifted in my life. He made the Pro Bowl on a leg and a half. He literally, his knee was about the size of a grapefruit, not grapefruit, a cantaloupe. Every day he had to have ice, the game ready machine, which is an ice machine. Every day, the things that he had to do just to get through practice, the things that he had to be able to do just to get through the game, to make the Pro Bowl and have the year he had, 90 catches, 1,080 yards, and 10 touchdowns. It's no way he should have had those stats. But to your point, Their NFL careers, Vernon Davis was better only because Keller was an idiot on the motorcycle.
And not only that, too, Maz, but every time we talk about that now, I feel like we should have a little disclaimer or a caveat. Flip-flop franchises.
Yeah.
Put Kellen Winslow in San Francisco in that franchise with those quarterbacks. Put Vernon Davis in Cleveland with those quarterbacks, and I guarantee you their careers are much different. Yeah.
Boom, Bob's your uncle.
You know, I mean, so I'm almost hesitant to clarify somebody's career better than another's now, because I think you have to take all the factors in. I still believe if he gets drafted by somebody other than Cleveland, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I agree.
You know, I mean, where you go, where you end up is every bit as important as the number next to the left of your name when, you know, you go down that draft list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter. That number on the left does not matter. It might for one contract, but the rest of your career, no.
How many guys have we ruined? We really don't know how good Joey Harrington could have been.
Joey Harrington's, that's a good one.
You don't know what he could have done.
Charles Rogers.
We're like we're Death Valley.
You know, based on what you just said, I should go around the corner to Uncle Ray's spot, Chiquini's. I should have myself a gold jacket made, and on the inside of my jacket, it should say, "What could have been."
What could have been? I love that. Speaking of what could have been, maybe Urban Meyer will be wondering what could have been for him in Jacksonville. He was on this week with his good buddy Dan Dockich on their Outkick podcast, and he spoke about the Josh Lambo situation and what happened in Jacksonville. You will hear that next, not nearly as long as Kelly Stafford, a little bit more concise, but nonetheless, we'll get that to you next. Armani and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, and it is the bottom line.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Time to talk about a group that is near and dear to my heart, and that is the Sports Marketing Agency. SMA has been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. I am one of them. I've gone to many countless seminars, as well as centers, as well as wellness centers, and just going there, lend our story, sharing their journey, etc. Man, and it works. People tend to listen more if it's somebody that they want to listen to. I don't know why I don't make the rules, but they do. So I'm glad that we do this work with the help of NFL alumni. Sean Jordan has been able to save lives, and this is no joke, save lives and take a stand against these issues. Soon coming to Woodward Sports, that is us. It will be the Sports Marketing Agency podcast. This is the F word, and the F word stands for fentanyl. Fentanyl is destroying our community by being overdosed, using drugs, etc. It is an assistant, and I can go on and on and on. We don't have that time. If you are struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. Go to thesportsma.com. Thesportsma.com.
Hey, gang. All right. Welcome back. Thank you. If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on YouTube, we certainly appreciate it. Tell a friend about us. Will you? We are the Woodward Sports Network. The guys in the morning, Adam and Jeff, doing a great job in the morning. And
Adam is funny. I can't wait till the Rams
He's already
win.
planning Monday's show if the Rams win. Guy's nuts in a good way. You've got Neil Rule.
He was crazy on Monday, just waiting if they win the Super Bowl.
Holding it down in the afternoon. D-Mac as well. Terry Foster sprinkled in a little bit over here. We love everybody at Woodward Sports Network. And the guys in the back, and ladies, work as hard, if not harder, than anybody in the business, the hours they put in. So we're trying to build a name for ourselves here at Woodward Sports Network, and we do so with you all along for the ride. And, sports marketing agency that Braylon just mentioned, Guardian Alarm, Les Stanford, Syntron, MyBookie, Gypsy Vodka, all these sponsors that are with us as well. Foaling Warehouse. Man, if you could patronize those companies, those businesses that help us keep the lights on here. If you like what you hear, certainly give them. If you're going to buy a car, you're going to buy a Chevy, go to Stanford.
You want to drink?
You want to drink? Buy a Gypsy Vodka. You want
responsibly.
You're going to get an alarm at your house, your condo.
Stay out.
Get Guardian Alarm.
You know,
all
membership?
these things.
Gym membership?
Go to Planet Fitness.
There you go.
You know, I mean, so
$22.99 a month, man. Massage chairs, hydro massage therapy. Hey, man, something worth checking out.
You're a guy out there getting a haircut, come to Lady Jane's. You know, I mean,
awesome.
Just the way it is. We certainly appreciate that as well. Guys, Urban Meyer, we talked so much about him for a long time. Fired, didn't even make it through year number 1 as he moves from college to the NFL. Got fired essentially from Jacksonville. He spoke about that with Dan Dockich. It was the worst experience he's ever had in his professional life, obviously, on losing his job with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But here is the situation, what really got him fired. His take on the whole Josh Lambo situation. Josh Lambo, former kicker of the Jaguars, said Urban Meyer kicked him. And that spawned into a bigger conversation, and ultimately
that was the end of it.
Was the reason, the final nail in the coffin, if you will, as to why he lost his job. Here's his take on that, Urban Meyer.
They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Go ahead.
It's just how you push, you know, and that's where, you know, I got to take responsibility too, how you push, you know. When you come out and say that there was a player kicked, that's not true. That's not true at all. You know, that there was arguments with the system. There was, of course, there was accountability and hard conversations and all that. But when I started, I was like, what are you talking about? So, but I do take ownership in the fact that, you know, how you go about pushing it's 2022 or we're 2021. But I gotta, you know, I just gotta, first of all, own it.
Okay, own it. Own what you did, but not what you didn't do. You didn't kick the kicker.
I certainly did not. I
know.
I mean, to say I didn't, like, tap him with my foot and say, let's make, you know, to kick someone. Come on. I've done this 37 years. What do you kick a player? And, you know, the other players came up to me and said, you know, we saw the whole thing. And because I mostly forgot about it.
Yeah. Look, that's kind of my point. I mean,
it goes to what we talked about earlier in terms of likability and dislikability. We watched Bruce Arians punch a player. Like, there was video of that. There was 170 angles of Bruce Arians punching a player, correct? Yes. 178 a punch. It was a punch. It wasn't.
It was a slap. Let's call it what it was. It was a slap on the helmet.
It was okay. I gotta watch it again. Yeah. I don't think it was a slap because I know what a slap is. It wasn't a slap. It was
open hand, right?
It was either a push, or a punch, a light punch. All I was gonna say, regardless, we have video footage of that. We have no video footage of Urban Meyer. It's hearsay by a guy that's not playing anymore. That could be angry, could be spawned, but we believed it because we don't like Urban Meyer. Yep. We wanted to fire Urban Meyer. Bruce Arians, we saw it, and it was like, oh, okay, 50,000, you know, on Martin Luther King's birthday, it's all good. But then with Urban Meyer, we were all ready to remove him from the situation because we didn't like him. He gets accused, it's hearsay, and we fire him. It just goes back to likability versus dislikability.
I'm glad you said that because I think that's an important point to make. We, in the media, create narratives. Good guys and bad guys. Yeah. Anytime you see a story, there's a good guy and a bad guy.
Automatically.
Right? It's just the way it is. Urban Meyer has been pegged a bad guy.
Yeah.
So anything that you say about him or any allegation made against him, you are going to think in a negative way. It's just the way it is. I've seen it a million times. I'll see it a million more times. He does not get the benefit of the doubt. I have a friend, one of my best friends in the world. I never told this story.
Antonio Brown.
One of my best friends, Antonio Brown, another one. And one of my best friends in the world. His name is Rick Court. Go ahead and look him up. He was the strength and conditioning coach at University of Maryland when they lost a player. And what was written about him, what was said about him, on that field, he was a murderer. He was a killer. He killed somebody. That is not what happened at all. But the media, ESPN, Heather Dinich, all these other reporters who grabbed a hold of that story, took a terrible, tragic situation and made a villain out of this guy, ruined his life. He is no longer wanted or can coach in college football or in the NFL.
Tell them the story. What happened?
What happened to the player?
Well, in terms of like what they blamed him for, and it
well, they blamed him for making running him too much. He wasn't even there.
Yeah,
he wasn't even there. He was somewhere else, and he was the one that helped him get off the field. So, but they turned him into such a bad guy. No matter what the facts were, he was going to take the brunt. That's why they gave him a buyout to take the fall. That's why, the players' parents were, I've seen the text messages that he got thanking him, everybody at the university thanking him for his quick action.
Yeah.
But the media didn't care about that.
No.
They needed a fall guy. They needed somebody to take the blame for this. And it sucks because you have him not coaching, but you have DJ Durkin getting a second job again. A second job from after this. So it's just... Long story to get to. Be careful what you hear, be careful what you hear, because, like Dan Dockich said, I do enough that you can call me out for. Just don't call me out for the things that I don't do.
Yeah, that's right.
So I just wanted to make that point.
That's very real.
Nicely done.
That's very well done, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
We live it sad but true. We live in a world. I feel like every time you say
We're
we
so
live
quick
in a world,
to judge.
Not only that, 100%, people are lazy.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like to do legwork. People don't like to do research. When they see something written, when they read it on Twitter, whether they read it on somebody's blog, whether they read it on somebody's website, as soon as they see it in black and white, and what is it? It's gold.
Mm-hmm.
They take it, they use it, they regurgitate it. Now the next person regurgitates it, and sooner or later, no one has done the homework to find out what really happened with Rick Cord. It's like, oh man, Rick Cord ran these guys. He's the head and strength and conditioning coach. It must be him. He ran the guys in the ground. The guy died while on his watch. No one does the legwork anymore.
And then there was one guy, Rick grew up, his dad was a Detroit police officer, so, they used to, the way they talked to each other was
a little different.
A lot of F-bombs, as kids and stuff like that. So that's how Rick coached.
Yeah.
That's how Rick was, in the weight room.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, that's how he coached, that's how he talked to people.
MF, you got another
one. Right.
Gotcha.
So when this happened, the pile-on from some of the players. Oh man, he called us the P word in the weight room. And,
a lot of players didn't play at time.
Right. Who didn't complain? Who always had his back?
Johnson.
Dak Prescott, who he coached at Mississippi State. Ezekiel Elliott, who he coached at Ohio State, all came to his defense. All these former players that he coached, and this is a year after he took the award for best strength and conditioning coach in the country too. So it's like the narratives that are created throughout media.
Got to be careful.
Hell, I mean,
as soon as you said that in every story there's a bad guy and a good guy, I was like,
he Romo'd it. Well, the following fall ball in the weight room, there was one guy who didn't complete his reps that he had to do.
Yeah.
And it was the long snapper that fumbled the snap or whatever and cost him a game. So Rick tells him, oh, look, this is the MFer who costs us a football game, doesn't finish his reps. That was one of the guys talking crap about, he's so hard on us. He's so hard on us.
Yeah, now see that I don't have a problem with. Like that's the way I was coached. That's the way I grew up. Like you can say what you want to me. Like I'll take it in stride. Yeah.
But I did tell him you can't talk to the kids like that these days. You can't do it. These kids are different. They don't want to be talked to like that. You offend them and all that stuff. You don't want to offend these kids.
They're sensitive.
Right, very sensitive. The coach, so you put your kid gloves on these guys. All right, gang, it's time of the day we like to play Maz's
videos of the day.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets daily on Woodward Sports.
Oh, shoot. I didn't.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. That's right. This place is, by the way, if you look at the Maz cam, I mean, this place is really filled up today. I'll tell you. That's great to see here at Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Do you know why the place is filled up?
Got some balloons in there, too,
because
baby.
it is wicked freaking awesome. Precision.
Wiki.
That's right. Precision haircuts. You got it. Walk in anytime. 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Fish? Ooh-wee. That's right.
Wicked awesome.
Lady Jane's is wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome. Speaking of wicked awesome, so is Centron. Centron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. I always drink the turmeric and pineapple, but the last 2 days I've been drinking that green tea and ginger. I'm telling you, man.
Which one's that?
That's the one I've been drinking lately. That would be the one actually in the commercial that you see right there in the graphic. That would be the one to the right.
Is that the revitalizer?
That's the revitalizer shot, Fish. Wake up in the morning.
I need a revitalizer. Can I get a revitalizer?
You can get one, man. It'll revitalize you. He said a muzzle. Citron's official energy drink of the Red Wings partners with the Detroit Pistons. Shout out to Cade Cunningham, 34-8-8-4 last night. Pistons and exclusively served at LCA Arena. Follow them on social at Citron World to see all the inspiring things they're up to, from empowering women to supporting entrepreneurs. Find them anywhere from hockey games to concerts to also charity events. The philanthropic side is very important. Buy online at citronworld.com with promo code Red Wing 10. Shout out to the Red Wings.
Red Wings.
Red Wings 10. Save 10% on shipping is included. Drink it and live it with Centron.
Ooh, mix it with a little gypsy vibe.
Hey, happy birthday to Dan Miller.
Shout out to the
Shout
GOAT.
out to Dan.
Dan, baby. Dan Miller.
The voice of the Lions. Sports director of
One
Fox
of the great guys, too, in the history of this business. I mean, I never took one broadcasting class in my life. Learned everything I needed to know from him. Interned with him since 1999. Worked for him for 13 years.
That's high praise, man.
Yep.
That's high praise.
Yep.
Maz, get us going, big guy.
You know, I told you like the Bears is one of my favorite jobs.
Yep.
It's just like the history of the Chicago Bears. George Halas driving up, Lake Michigan to that headquarters in Chicago, soon to be in Arlington Heights. But this was their new general manager, Ryan Poles, starting his day off this morning. Check it out.
BMW action? Or Mercedes? Yeah, that's Mercedes because of the back.
There he is, getting out of his car. He's getting his backpack.
What's he doing, Maz?
He's getting his backpack. Look how early in the morning it is. Snow on the ground.
Almost looks creepy.
Just so happened to be a camera person there waiting for him.
But look at him walk up to the Gallant Bear, to the Gallant Bear logo here. Watch. This gets.
I love early mornings.
Let's go to work.
Let's go to work, he says. Now look at it. Look at this look at this bear.
Probably rushing to watch the tennis.
His commentary is
look at that.
It's an hour ahead Eastern time, so it's not that early.
Listen, don't you want to walk up to that
Still
bear
early.
logo? That's beautiful. Hey,
you know we're the westernmost Eastern time zone.
Yes, I do.
The Chicago Bears.
Where's their facility again? In Lake? Is it Lake Forest?
Lakeland.
Lake Forest.
I think Lakeland. I could be wrong.
No, Lakeland's Tigers. Lakeland's Florida. I think you're right. Lake Forest or
something like
but
that.
That's gonna suit you.
Jerry Angelo told me, he wouldn't draft me.
Really?
He said he wouldn't draft me. I was like,
they drafted David Terrell for crying out loud.
I was like, hello.
Maybe that's why I wouldn't draft him.
Hey,
Terrell
hey.
ruined it for him.
We did wear the same number. We did wear the same number. Hey, don't talk about DT, man. That's our boy. He ruined it for me, though.
Let me take you back to Sunday. The greatest 13 seconds in NFL history, all predicated.
Are we sure we want to do this?
Yeah, it's an NFL Films.
Okay.
NFL Films. It's not like, the play-by-play or anything like that. All right, let's.
You sure, man?
I'm not sure of anything anymore.
He's never sure.
Well, here, let me tell.
He's the video king.
Let me
He's
fill
never
the
sure
people
about
in.
anything.
So the second to last video of the day yesterday was an NFL video, and the NFL copyrighted it and took us down for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
They said, stay out.
Maybe I should just stay out.
Maybe we should stay out of the NFL. Do you want to describe it?
Well, it's Travis Kelce basically talking to Tyreek Hill and saying, hey, they're doing this to you, let's do this. And he basically called that last 2 plays.
Yeah, it was like drawing up the play in the dirt with your friends in the sand.
He did that twice because he also did the one in, right before overtime where he told him, he said, hey, look, I'm not running this play. Like, the 13 seconds, he told him, he said, I ain't running that play. And then, Mahomes got to the line. He said, do it. Do it. Hey, you, do it. He did it like Starsky and Hutch, and that's what happened on that play. It was a backyard in the dirt. You do this, I'm going to do this, and you just give me the ball.
If you guys want to see that, you can go to Inside the NFL on Showtime, I guess. Yeah. Let's go down to someone that won't pull us down.
Okay.
It's 2 years since we lost the great Kobe Bryant. We all loved him. Here's just a little something on Kobe.
The lesson I cherish the most is how important it is to love what you do. If you love what you do and it's making you happy, all the hard work and perseverance will pay off. You can't stop people from trying to limit your dreams, but you can stop it from becoming a reality. Your dreams are up to you. I encourage you to always be curious, always seek out things you love, and always work hard once you find it. Please know I'm thinking of you, supporting you, and encouraging you always. Peace.
Dang.
Man,
we love
man.
You. By the way,
bless.
Detroit Dabber said Lake Forest in Chicago.
Yeah, Lake Forest.
Right, Lake Forest. Thank you to that.
Dang.
So Kobe,
better
2
duo,
years, man.
Kobe and Shaq, or Kobe and Pow?
Oh no, Kobe and Shaq.
Okay.
You don't think?
No, I think Kobe and Shaq, but I think Kobe and Pow are underrated because Pow gave Kobe exactly what he needed so Kobe could just spread his wings.
I think you just like saying Pow.
Pow.
They beat the Orlando Magic. Get out of here.
Who?
Kobe and Powell. They beat the Orlando Magic. Get out of here.
That was who they beat in the championship.
Yes, they beat the
Celtics too, didn't they?
They got the revenge on the Celtics.
Yeah.
But they lost to the Celtics. They beat the Magic, and then they beat the Celtics. Yeah, but
just talking smack.
Still pretty good.
No, it's pretty good. I mean, well, I guess considering Shaq and Kobe did beat AI and nothing on
Indiana,
Philadelphia, and then they beat and the Nets too.
Yeah.
Ooh, what? That's ugly.
They did beat a Portland team,
but and Sacramento.
So yeah, very good.
And Tim Duncan.
Last video of the day is for Braylon and all the Barry Bonds lovers out there.
Hey,
here's Barry with a big asterisk next to his name, passing the great Hank Aaron.
And Bonds hits one high, hits it deep, it is out of here!
Oh my God, what a frenzy.
7:56.
They were fighting for that, but I remember
what a frenzy. Goose pimples.
Bonds stands alone. He is on top of the all-time.
How'd you like to be Barry Bonds' kid?
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
But I mean, just like,
I would use the things that my dad did great and the things that he did bad and just create myself.
Man, oh man.
By the way, that ball is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. They did. I forgot what they pawned it for though.
I forgot.
Like the trade off.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Tom Brady situation.
Lots of money.
You can tell the difference in franchises from St. Louis when Mark McGwire hit that ugly, barely home run to break
Big Mac Land.
to break the record, to beat Maris's record versus what the spectacle that was Barry Bonds 756.
Well, Barry took more medicine.
Nah, that Andros Dynasty, like Mark was juicing in the 80s. The Bash Brothers, don't get started.
Hey guys, what a packed Wednesday it was.
Yeah.
Great stuff out of everybody. Braylon, get us out of here, will you?
Yeah, sure. August 23rd, 1978. Philadelphia, PA, there was an individual named Kobe Bryant that was born, man, and he left an amazing legacy. The things that he did on the court, the way in which he was relentless, the way in which he carried himself, the way in which he was dedicated. You know, fans want players to be dedicated to a franchise. Tell me somebody better. Fans want players to be dedicated to the game. Name someone better. Fans want players to give everything that they have, sacrifice every muscle, every bone. Name me someone that did it more than Kobe Bryant. Lost Gianna. Gianna was on her way up, man. She wasn't going to UConn like every other girl. She was going to Oregon. She was in love with Oregon University of Oregon. Just tragedy, the 25th of 2019, man. It's 2020. Just a tragedy and a sad day, man. Don't take life for granted. Like, don't take it for granted. It's a shame that it takes someone like Kobe to die for us to realize that. But every day is a blessing. Every day is a gift. Cherish it. Don't take it for granted, man. That's Edwards. That's Armani. Fish! Always love Wednesdays. Alex
Fish
in the building. And that's Big Maz on the couch. We love you guys. See you tomorrow. And that's the bottom line.
You on one side, he curls to the other side. Pivots and
Cade gets rid of him and knocks it down from downtown. The long gun goes for Cade. He has 13 in the first. Jokic has 11 and 9 rebounds.